Hey, all my friends across Kansas. John Felt here. This is the Kansas Karn Weekly Weather Briefing for the 29th of June 2024. Have had a lot of action going on right through the entire month of June. Some of it's affected Kansas. Most of it has been up to the north or to the east. Let's talk about what's expected this 4th of July week. Stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, first of all, action spots across the nation. Well, I wanted to show you all the hot weather. We had a hot week in Kansas. Anything in this area in orange made it above 100, and I can even see a couple areas of red in the northwest part of Kansas that made it to 105. The entire state made it into at least 95 last week, so it's been a pretty hot week. These are advisories or heat advisories or warnings at the current time, and they are brushing southeast Kansas. We also had quite a bit of severe weather last week, these windstorms called derechos, and they start off as hail, that's the area of pink, and then they turn into windstorms, that's the area in yellow. And you can see one moving towards Emporia. Look at all the winds, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. So that's another thing we've seen. Usually it's a little bit later in the year when we get this, but they are fueled off hot temperatures, and it's certainly been hot. Now there has been some cooler air or cold air. Take a look at this. On last Wednesday, we had a temperature range from 29 in Montana to 120 at Death Valley. The Missouri River is running quite high. You can see we have moderate flooding along the Kansas-Missouri border. And all this heavy rain up here has been working down, and we're getting more rain, so it keeps on sort of maintaining those flows. But as they come down, the flows attenuate, generally as they get into the Mississippi on south of St. Louis or Cape Girardeau. Now last week, here's the rain. We didn't have that much in Kansas. Those thunderstorms, even though they were severe in spots, they did not provide a lot of widespread rain. Parts of Missouri did, and parts of the Great Lakes region, upper Midwest, got another very heavy rain. Temperatures averaged well above normal last week. This was a departure from normal, so it was a hot week across the entire state. Look at those dark areas in red. That averaged 8 degrees above normal for the entire week, and that is hot. What about the dew point? Well, we do have a boundary here pushing through with a new air mass. Over central and eastern Kansas is somewhat muggy, 70 dew points, and some drier air off to the west. Okay, so let's dig into the forecast. First of all, the question is whether this dip in the jet stream is going to win for our weather or whether this ridge of high pressure. The ridge of high pressure is bringing warm weather. The dip in the jet stream is bringing the cooler weather. Now, by the end of the week, we're still right between the two, but it looks to me like we're a little bit more in this dip in the jet stream, so I wouldn't be surprised if temperatures ease down a bit due to that dip in the jet stream. And you can see it here in the temperatures for the next 5 days. We have some blue over us. Now, the core of the cooler air is up to our north, but we could get some of that pushing down into Kansas, especially the northern part and the northeast part of the state. Now, by the second week of July, we start to warm up again. So that's temperature. I think it's not real clear how much of that cool air is going to get down here. Models are a little bit uncertain with that. So here's the rain this week. We could get some pretty heavy rain, maybe in anywhere from Topeka, Kansas City, right along the eastern part of the state, Lawrence. But as we get further to the west, it diminishes quite a bit. Let's jump down to the tropics. You might be interested. Things are really beginning to fire up. And what we have here is Beryl, a tropical storm, second one of the season. And ensembles, or the model runs, are very confident in this track right now. So let's dig into the forecast details here. And you can see this is where we get some rain that keeps temperatures down. And then Tuesday we warm up again, and then we pull down into the 80s. So that cooler air does begin to sink down into Kansas, and we have more pleasant weather, but we're also going to have some rain with that, so clouds and rain keep our temperatures down. Let's look a little bit further out here, right here, and you can see we sort of stay below maybe the low 90s all week. Next week, mainly 80s. Now, we do have Tuesday, it's going to be hot. Other than that, we stay down there. And then maybe in week 2 of July, we warm back up into the 90s. So overall, not that bad as we go forward into July with some of that cooler air pushing in. And finally, here's the extended outlook. This is where it's showing a little bit more pessimistic for warm temperatures in the 8 to 14 day range. I think that is not the highest confidence, but it does look fairly dry in week 2. I think the takeaway here is temperatures should be easing down. We're going to have Tuesday a pretty hot day, but this week, this 4th of July week, temperatures easing down with rain scattered, thunderstorms from time to time. Hope you have a great 4th of July. Take care.